next questions we get is, okay, what did you have to do for teachers before you went this route? How much professional development? And like Darren, I came on after the decision had been made to go one-to-one, hired similarly. Before the actual decision was made, I knew I was going to Van Meter, but didn't start until we were well underway. What was surprising to me, the biggest thing that I learned, especially from my background in larger districts, was do all this upfront professional development, and then once everyone was comfortable, then move into it. And that's not the way that this happened, and I'm sure Sean and Shannon can tell you that. Instead, for us, I think some of the biggest things that the district did that made a difference was, one, talking a lot about change and what do we want the educational system to be. That flexibility of mind is far more important, I'm seeing now, than the teacher's ability to use a computer. So that was new for me. That was a big aha when I came across
Is it totally teaching differently?
It is,
Okay.
and it's being willing to take risks, and it's being unafraid to say, you guys, I don't know how to use this, but here's what we need to get to. This is what I want you to learn, and the kids will say, oh, well, I could use this. Is this okay if I go here? I'll show you that. And having that kind of classroom where it's a give and take instead of, I know everything as your teacher and listen to me as I lecture to you about what I know. I mean, that's a big shift, and that's stereotypical, traditional, but for some of us, that's how big the shift was. So for professional development, we did have a couple days, 2 days, where our secondary staff had training on how to turn their computer on, learn about iLife, and we differentiated those groups because some didn't need to know how to turn it on. Some were very nervous about the difference between a Mac and a PC and needed a little hand holding, and then, oh, and some were totally unfamiliar to the Apple products. So a little bit of that training up front. But from there on out, I think the professional development time has really focused more on getting teachers to share with one another, collaborating. And with the exception of Google Docs, and I guess Darren, Moodle, for your whole staff, there's not been a platform or a thing that we've said you all will know or you all will do. Google Docs, because all of our kids have Gmail accounts, those Google apps were really the only thing.
Yeah, we struggle with that a little bit, trying to figure, because you've always got two sides. I mean, we kind of started off with the philosophy, let's just try something, just go, everybody. And then you get about part way, and then it's really more teachers, it's not kids. You know, you got to talk about, it's all about the kids. You got to keep that focus. And that's really where the administration, you've got to keep the focus on the kids, because your teachers, especially the ones that I would say are not as tech savvy, or you could say maybe aren't as flexible or willing to learn, they'll come up with reasons why we all need to be on the same platform, and that's kind of where we decided to go with Google training a little bit and some of the Moodle thing. I'm not saying that's wrong, but I don't think it's that critical. Now, I'm saying that, but then on the flip side, it's also one of the things we found that's really been beneficial to our kids this year is we've got most of our teachers using Google Calendar, which is really simple, that has made it's made, I think, a great improvement. I'm sure Sean will show you his, and you don't want to see Shannon's because she's got so many tabs in there. It's hard to believe she. Yeah. Anyway, just teasing. But that way, what Sean he'll show you too. He'll basically put his lesson plan in there, and he can share it with the parent or he can share it with the kids, and then there's no excuse for, well, I don't have my book, or I don't know what the assignment is, or how do I get to that website? If they can get to their email, which they all know how to get to their email, there's no excuse.
And Sean and Shannon are two examples of where if Darren and I and the administrative team would have set the expectations, we would have undershot what they're capable of. I mean, you're seeing not only two people that are passionate about, no pressure. No, but they're really an example of how, I mean, we didn't know. And then so many teachers just, what they were able to connect with and learn about exceeded our
Yeah,
expectations.
it's kind of like a classroom. Sometimes we design professional development for the teachers that maybe are going to be a little more resistant or struggle a little more, and that's not fair to the people that don't need that. And we often do that in classrooms as well. So we've tried to just get out of the way, basically. And you'll see it'll be very evident when you see some of the stuff they show you. So there, how's that?
Feel free to give me the gong. I can go on. I'm older than I look. The gong show. I used to say not just a crowd that laughs at me. I teach junior high and college prep on a lot in common. Now I'm way off base. Okay. I used to say if I won the lottery, I would get a class set of computers for my students, and now I found 2 years ago when we started, I won the lottery because we had a class set. So my mentality was I was not against technology at all. I always thought it would be a great thing to have. Now I have it, so what do I get to do with it? And as Jen was saying, teaching has changed, but I think it's more, not necessarily the teaching itself, it's the mindset that goes into teaching. And maybe that's just because, once again, I'm a junior high teacher and they always know more than everybody. But it's in different areas that they know more. You're a leader still, you're the guidance, you know more about the content because you've done it more. But now you have opened up a whole new world to them, or you have the capability of opening up the whole world new to them. So I think that's one of the things when I go through and I look at what I like about the one-to-one, it's all the capabilities that you can do, and it's really expanded my knowledge. I've said many times I thought I was a very effective teacher all the years prior to going one-to-one. It's just, I like the BASF commercials from years ago. They don't make a product, they make a product better. And I really feel that doesn't make the teaching, it makes the teaching better. And maybe that's just my humility that says, before I've always been a productive teacher. I think teaching goes down to relationships no matter what anyway. You need to have a respect for the teacher, you need to respect what the teacher does, otherwise you're going to get nowhere. A lot of teachers, and maybe when we go to your questions you'll ask this about discipline problems in the one-to-one. The discipline problems, it's not going to cure. One-to-one, just having a student with a laptop is not going to cure the discipline problems if you have discipline problems. If you have a discipline problem before you have a computer, you're going to have a discipline problem with the computer is what I fully believe. So that being said, I've never sent a student to Darren. I don't remember. I've had one in the office in the past probably 10 years. So it's just a matter of teaching style, and I think it's a lot about the respect.